Hello. So, on the topic of anger, sometimes our anger can be really productive, this holy rage that leads us to creativity and just something pouring out of us because we're inspired by this anger at an injustice or at something that's really important to us. And then sometimes I find myself feeling anger when I really don't want to be feeling that emotion. Wow, it's very windy right now. Maybe I'll close the door. And recently, this has been coming up a lot with strangers. Something that someone I meet will say will trigger this intense response of anger. So an example that came up about a week or so ago, maybe a little more. I was at a cafe and I was doing some work, and this guy, middle-aged man, sits down next to me and just starts talking to me. And I'm very clearly in my own space, my headphones are on, I'm doing my own thing, and he just starts talking to me. And so I look over, I'm like, oh, hey, man, I'm just going to do my own thing. Completely ignores that. He just keeps on talking, and so I say again, oh, you know what, man, I'm going to do my own thing, and just keeps on talking, ignores what I say. And so after a moment, I took my headphones off and said, hey, I don't want to hear what you have to say because I'm doing my homework right now. And I had to be super clear and really rude and angry to make this man respect my boundaries because he wouldn't listen otherwise. And so then when I did do that, he finally was taken aback and stopped talking, but chuckled or rolled his eyes or made some comment. And this is a pattern because there are just a lot of things that come up with people that I meet, and I know that it's not just me that this happens to. This happens to a lot of people where just someone in a grocery store will make a subtle comment that is, not intended to come across as hurtful, but it's a little microaggression, like, hey, young lady, wow, that's a nice skirt you're wearing, just like some little comment, and it's like, I don't want that attention from you, and I am struggling because when situations like this happen, I always meet them with anger, because I found that's the only way to consistently have people respect my boundaries who I don't know. And so, like, in this situation with this guy who was just talking at me as I was at this cafe, as soon as I angrily told him to leave me alone, I immediately felt shame come up. And so that's usually what will happen. When I meet someone's crossing of my boundary with anger, then I'll feel shame. And so I immediately started crying. He didn't see, it was silent. It was like just silent tears coming down. But because it's like, no, I don't hate this guy. He wasn't fucking respecting my boundaries, and I needed to make my boundaries known somehow. And so it's this pattern where when I meet someone with anger, shame comes up. But I find that if I just stay in whatever mood I'm in, whatever life force I feel coming through me, because this usually happens when I'm in a positive mood and I just feel like I'm radiating and feeling really good, and then I shut that mood of mine down with the anger. But when I don't meet those comments that I don't want coming at me with anger, when I meet them with like openness and love, I feel like this sense of betrayal coming up. And I think I used to think that I always had to hold space for people who would make unsolicited comments to me or who would talk at me. I used to think that I'd have to smile along and be like, yeah, yes, I'm a young lady, I'm fine, I'm so happy. And inside there's this voice in my gut that's saying like, I hate this. That's just completely checked out. And like, the smile is very inauthentic. It's very fake. And so I've learned that I don't have to let anyone talk at me. I'm allowed to walk away. And I'm trying to learn to walk away from a place of love, but it's really tricky because I'm repeating myself, but again, I found that anger is the only way to consistently have people respect my boundaries. With people who know me, my friends and my family, I think that I do know how to proclaim my boundaries from a place of love and like have these discussions, and it'll go both ways where we're setting boundaries, but it's from a really loving place. But with people that I just meet, I feel like my default mode is to snap into anger, because I find that when I'm open and loving, it attracts a certain vibes and people that I don't really want around me. But it's frustrating, and I don't know if anyone has any advice for that or things they do. I was talking to a friend of mine recently, and she said that she will stay in that loving, chipper place if someone, usually men, not always, but usually men, if someone's like making a comment. And she also works in food service, and that's very tricky because you have to be, I mean, you don't have to be, but you'll probably get more tips if you're very, happy and social and like kind of cater to the needs of the customers in a way that you may not always want to. And so she said that in her life and when she's waiting tables, she will treat everyone with the same respect and the same chipper attitude that's coming out of her, that is her. And she'll make it clear that she's not going to give someone extra attention if they are trying to like pull that out of her or making some strange comment towards her. She'll just say, yes, thank you, and here's your check. And because the other thing is like, when I meet these people with anger, I feel like I'm allowing them to take my peace of mind away. And I don't want that, but I also need my boundaries to be clear. And so it's very tricky and very frustrating. And I just wanted to share a little bit of that and see if other people have had a similar situation and how you all deal with boundaries with strangers. Bye.